May I first thank all honourable members for their contributions. Certainly has been a very complex matter, and I regret that indeed members who are present and connected via WebEx and ready to contribute remotely have not been able to do so, as I'm sure that their contributions would have been equally as valuable. Members that have been able to contribute today have raised a number of powerful arguments concerning the rights, powers and privileges of this House, pursuant to standing orders like Standing Order 4 or Standing Order 35, or indeed long-standing conventions of the House, notwithstanding the explicit requirement in Standing Order 34 that a minister must be present for the House to sit. These arguments and the counter-arguments put so eloquently by the Deputy President weigh heavily upon my mind. In particular, I note that members found it difficult to reconcile the actions of the government in this matter with the Legislative Council's constitutional role as a House of review. As members are aware, the House is charged with the duty to hold the executive of the day to account as part of our democratic system of responsible government. This was authoritatively expressed by the High Court of Australia in Egan and Willis 1998, where Justices Gaudron, Gummow and Hayne jointly stated, and I quote, "A system of responsible government traditionally has been considered to encompass the means by which Parliament brings the executive to account, so that executive's primary responsibility in its prosecution of government is owed to Parliament." Members also noted that Standing Order 35 explicitly states that the days and times of the House's sitting will be determined by the House, not by the Executive, while Standing Order 36 provides for the recall of the House at the request of an absolute majority of members. Accordingly, members stated that the sittings of the House are a matter for the members of this House, not the Executive Government to determine. I note that as required under Sessional Order 3, in light of the request from the Leader of the House for today's sitting to be postponed, I consulted with the Leader or designated representative of each party and with independent crossbench members. I can report to the House that it was the clear desire of at least 24 out of the 41 members of this House for today's sittings to proceed. Indeed, preparations for this sitting have been made with the active participation of all parties and members of the crossbench over the course of 10 weekly meetings, which also included ministers and the Leader and Deputy Leader of the opposition in the latter stages. Through this process, a comprehensive COVID-safe plan has been developed with the benefit of advice from HIBs, immunologists and occupational hygienists. A copy of this COVID-safe plan was tabled earlier today. As members are aware, this COVID-safe plan goes to great lengths to ensure that the Council can sit with the least possible risk and subject to the most stringent safety measures, including the deployment of rapid antigen tests, the option of members participating virtually via WebEx, and with the expectation that the minimum number of members and staff required to be in attendance will be fully vaccinated. The government has relied on health advice from Dr Kerry Chant, the Chief Health Officer, that the September sittings of Parliament should be deferred on the basis that stay-at-home orders are in place, that staff are required to work from home unless it is not practicable to do so, and any sitting of the Legislative Council would present a significant risk of transmission in Parliament itself and a risk of ceding COVID-19 to unaffected regional communities when MPs and staff return home. As members have pointed out, this advice and the government's position overlooks the fact that normal operations of Parliament are an exempt gathering under Schedule 2 of the Public Health Order concerning public gatherings, and that members of Parliament and parliamentary staff are authorised workers under the terms of the public health orders. This means that the current public health orders contemplate Parliament sitting during this pandemic and enable members and parliamentary staff to travel to Parliament for this purpose. Additionally, as members have articulated today, the COVID-safe plan appropriately manages the risk of the Council sitting this week, and the option of participation of members via WebEx in their homes eliminates any concerns regional or other members might have in this regard. Nevertheless, the government has today deliberately withheld its ministers from attending the scheduled sitting and, as members have reflected, invoked Standing Order 34 to subvert the will of the House. I note members' advice that they will be bringing forward motions to amend Standing Order 34 to reflect its true purpose so that this tactic cannot be used again in the future by any executive government in New South Wales. The Legislative Council operates in an orderly and deliberative manner and in accordance with long-standing parliamentary law, practice and precedent, and those proposals to amend Standing Order 34 will no doubt be carefully considered in the appropriate manner and at the appropriate time. For today, I am left with Standing Order 34 in the form that I find it. Accordingly, I have no choice but to now leave the chair until the ringing of a long bell. As I do so, I ask that all honourable members take the opportunity to reflect upon their personal responsibility to this House and to the people of New South Wales.